Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shade Beast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shade Beast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shade Beast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth. Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now, let's get this show on the road. What is going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of The Metal Forge. And this week, I have Mr. John Gallagher from the band Raven here in the Metal Forge, and we are talking about their latest album and their new album that is slated for a September release. But before we get into that, how are you all doing? Wow, this has been such an awesome year already. You know, here we are 3 weeks in, and we've had the Terrible Texan, Incantation, and Raven, and we have a lot more awesome guests coming up, like Becky Baldwin. We have just Space Coke, there's so many awesome episodes that we're already slated up until the middle of March with episodes ready to come out. So it's fun. This has been awesome. This whole beginning of the year, I really appreciate everybody who has been tuning in each and every week and listening. And obviously, thank you to Jason and Athena for doing their reviews each and every week. That it just kicks ass. And Athena is back this week with an interview? No, with a review. She is going to be talking about the new Obituary album, which came out on Friday the 13th. If you haven't got a chance to listen to it, please fucking do so, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. But yeah, before we talk to her, what are you all into this year? What are you all going to want to get into show-wise? Obviously the Metallica stuff is out there. Jason and I have talked about that on a few other things, like I believe the Mudhorn podcast and whatnot. But there's Hell in the Harbor. I know here in Louisville, DRI is coming to town. Alice Cooper's ZZ Top. And obviously we're going to have Louder Than Life in September and so on and so forth with that. But no, what shows are you all interested in going to? Because I know in March there's Hell's Heroes number 5. And, I'm just curious to see what the hype is this year. What you all are excited about. So let me know. Shoot me a message, comment down on the social media posts, send me an email, metalforgeradio@gmail.com. Let me know what shows and what tours that you are excited about, because after so many months of not getting to go to shows over 2020 and 2021, I'm curious to see what it is. And state your grievances if there's shows that you're excited for but are just kind of bummed out about or something. Let me know that too, because obviously I'm kind of bummed out over the Metallica thing, honestly. That there's only like 20 shows or whatever it is over 2 years. Yeah, those guys I know are close to 60 now, but still, go ahead, let me know. Let us know. Shoot any of us a message, and we'll be glad to get you on and to talk about it, to converse, So let's go ahead and check in with Athena on the new Obituary.
Misfits and miscreants, bangers and mashers, deviants and the deviated, the tormented and the fermented, ghouls and goblins, creatures of the night. Jack those headphones, crank the volume to max, spark it up, and just relax. It's time for your deadly dose. Welcome to the next installment of Metal Mischief. And if you can hear the music behind me and it sounds a little familiar, it might be because on today's lineup is Obituary and their new album, Dying of Everything. So, we've had 35 amazing years of music from Obituary. And this album is just as relentless as, say, The Incomplete and World Demise. Actually, this album reminds me a lot of both of those albums. It's got that definite old, just Obituary as we know Obituary. They do not let us down on this album, that's for sure. It's their 11th full-length album, too. After all this time, they're still putting out fucking solid material. And, I mean, if you heard my last review, which was of the year end, there's a lot of fucking good metal coming out in this year in 2023. So, starting it off with Obituary is definitely the fucking way to go. For sure. Okay, so, I gotta say, you know, even though their members have changed a little bit over the years, you still have your core members that really make Obituary identifiable. You know, like John Tardy and his very distinct vocals for number one. And of course his brother, Donald Tardy on drums. So you've got those two elements right there that have been present, since 2003. Well, okay, so, they had a little stint before that, both of them, from 1988 to 1997. And then they took like a hiatus to 2003, to the present. But, that is that distinct classic Obituary sound. And with those two elements, of course, this album was not gonna let me down. And it didn't. It absolutely didn't. So, it was mixed really well, it was produced really well, very like I said, classic type of Obituary sound. It's a little cleaner. I do miss kind of that dirty aspect of Obituary, like, when the production was a little rough back in the day. That adds something to it, for sure for me. So I kind of miss that, but a lot of metal nowadays is much cleaner than it used to be. That gritty production factor is not really, as present anymore, unless it's done on purpose, So I like it though. I like it a lot, even though, it's kind of missing that grittiness. I really, really did like it a lot. Matter of fact, like when I put it on, the first, I listened to albums over and over and over and over again before I review them. And, it was one of those things like while I'm working, doing other shit, I had this album playing in the background. And many times I kind of forgot that I was listening to the new Obituary. Because, it was just like Obituary was playing in the background. And it, it's literally kind of one of those things. But, to me, that's a good sign. My brain is just like, oh, there's Obituary. Fuck yeah. So, but yeah, like, for their 11th full-length album, they still got it, man. I gotta say, of course, my favorite years are the Tardy years, I won't lie, and that might be the case for a lot of us fans of Obituary, but, I'm just happy that the Tardy boys are still with them, so, yeah. Anyway, it's pretty cool, though, because, before that, they were actually called Executioner, like, in 1984, before they signed to Roadrunner in 1988, they were actually called Executioner, and then there was another band also called Executioner, and so they had to change their name. And so when they signed with Roadrunner, they became Obituary. So that's, just a little history there, in case you didn't know. I'm sure most of you already knew that, but anyway, I find that kind of shit really fascinating, like where they were and how they, have, developed and shit over the years and all that jazz. But 35 years later, shit. So, but now, I mean, they're not on Roadrunner anymore. This album was actually put out by Relapse Records, which, they've been with them for a minute there, but, but it was actually recorded and done all by Obituary themselves in Obituary's home studio called Redneck Studios. So they actually did all that shit themselves, but Relapse has, put it out for them. So, and it was filmed, haha, look at me. It was actually recorded in Gibsonton, Florida. These Florida boys. So, let me see. Lost my place. Oh, yeah. And it was recorded and mixed by Full Force Studios. And, of course, the release date, January 13th, 2023. So, that was the nitty. Here is the gritty. We always have to take pause and introduce ourselves. Not introduce ourselves. Holy shit, where is my brain? and introduce the band. Hold on, let me hit this again. Yep. Okay, so it's time to introduce the band. As I already mentioned, the Tardy brothers are still with us. So we've got John Tardy, of course, on vocals, and Donald Tardy on drums. We have Terry Butler on bass, Kenny Andrews on guitar, Trevor Perez on rhythm guitar. So, there's not a whole lot to actually say about this album because it's just a classic sounding obituary album. I mean, I have nothing negative to say about it. So, if you are an obituary fan and you are a fan of death metal and you want to hear the new album, then you should definitely pick this up, download it, go to any of the social media sites or whatever where they stream it and all that shit, you know. Or, here in the near future, I will have it in stock at Better Days Records. And you can come down and visit me at the Better Days Records location on the east side. And I can help you out with some metal. Not just obituary, but all kinds of metal. But, keep in mind, we don't have everything yet. We're building stock. So, if you are in a band and you are listening to this, please reach out to me because I'm trying to stock the store full of awesome metal. They made me the metal goblin, so now I gotta make sure all the shelves are stocked with good metal. And I want to stock it with independent labels and self-produced albums. I mean, if you are in a metal band and you have some kind of physical media, please reach out to me because I want to put it in the store. I want to put it in people's hands. If you are in a band, you deserve to be heard. You deserve to have your shit in a record store. So please, get a hold of me. Please. Alright, cool. Now that we got that out of the way. Definitely go pick up this album though. Highly recommend it. So, I guess we're kind of getting to that point where it's time for Athena's 5-shot review. And if you've been sleeping through class, there are some rules. So, first I want to pause and take a shot here. And I want to take a shot because I want to toast to the new year ahead and all the metal that is going to come forth and blast our eardrums and caress our cochleas. Here's to all you amazing musicians out there. If you are listening, cheers to you. Whew, yeah. All right. All right. If you've been sleeping through class, here are the rules. 5 shots. It took me 5 shots to get through the motherfucker. 4 shots. Meh. Coulda used some 3 shots. Good. Made me air drum and bang my head. 2 shots. Really good. Put that shit in the glove box for traveling. And 1 shot. Excellent. I'll probably have a bangover in the morning. So, without further ado, shitty drum roll. I am going to give Obituary dying of everything. One shot! Excellent! I'm probably gonna have a hangover in the morning. So, until we meet again, have a most excellent time, and remember, keep it heavy. That's a wrap!
So I am going to have to go back and re-listen to this album because I listened to it, I got busy in the middle of doing something, and I'm weird like that. Like, I'll sit there and I will... I don't want to say it becomes like background noise at some point, but like if I'm like cleaning the house or doing the dishes or whatever, I start getting in like, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. The thing that we all do. And then it just kind of like phases out and just kind of thing. But from what I can remember of the album, it is fucking amazing, and I've never been like a enormous Obituary fan. I've always respected what they've done. But like this, like sonically, I think it sounds really awesome. It's mixed and mastered extremely well, and I dug about the first half of the album that I can remember listening to. But yeah, totally fucking awesome. Fuck yes, more please. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into this with Raven. We're gonna go back. And we're not going to play any of the new songs, okay? We're going to go back to the day with Raven this week. This is from the Stay Hard album. This is Restless Child.
Does it really matter anyway? Hey, where's with perspiration? You know I
right, metalheads, I am being joined on the line today from John Gallagher from the band Raven. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Mark. Good to be here. Thank you.
Hell yeah. So, a little bit of history here. We have, Raven, you're a legendary band. You've kind of been all over the world. You're starting the 49th year of Raven this year?
Absolutely. The 49th year of our galactic conquest. Yes.
Hell yeah. So
1974, we turned around and looked at each other and said, we're going to form a band. Let's fight our parents for instruments and see if we can learn to play.
So obviously it's yourself, your brother, and you've had a few different drummers in the course of the years, but only a couple of really heavy mainstays.
In our initial years, we went through drummers kind of like toilet paper. Then we had a couple of guys for a few years, and then things really started happening when we got Rob Wacko Hunter in on drums in like late 79, early 1980. And when that's my alarm to tell me to talk to you. There you go. As we're ahead of the curve here. And of course, when Rob left, we got a guy in called Joe Hasselvander, another great drummer who was with us for nearly 30 years until health issues and what have you made, he had to leave. And we've had Mike Heller in on drums since 2017, doing a fabulous job. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So is it just because, you say you went through the drummers like toilet paper? Is that because a lot of them were shit? No, I'm kidding.
Well, when we first started, we had the kid from down the street who couldn't play. And then we got an older guy in where it wasn't his priority. Then we got Mike Kenworthy in, who was an older guy and was with us for like 3 years and kind of got us in on the pub and club circuit in the northeast of England. And then, he had his exams and what have you. We got this lad in called Sean Taylor, who ended up in Satan down the line. He still plays with Satan. And he was with us for a few years. Nothing much was happening. He quit. We looked around, then we got Rob in. Once we got Rob in, we changed to a three-piece. The other guy, Paul, who'd started the band with us, had quit the band. We had another guy in for a couple of months, didn't work. We went as a three-piece, and that's really when the magic started to happen, I think. That's when we really came up with a more identifiable, unique sound. And, we just had all this space musically to fill, which, just made us all grow as players enormously. Sure. There's no passengers in a three-piece band. You can always have a passenger in a four-piece band. The guitar players can kind of lean on each other. Oh, I'm just going to make a noise, and you can play the song.
Right. I think
we're in a three-piece. We just all make a noise. So there you go.
For sure. And, and I'm in a three-piece band myself, and every time we've went to move to a second guitar player, it's never seemed to work out. Like the other guy has always wanted to quit, and he didn't want to share guitar duties with him. So I can totally relate to the three-piece thing.
Yeah, I mean the four-piece thing with two guitar players can work if the guitar players want to work together and be creative. I mean, a lot of the times it's just both guys play the same rhythm and then they take turns at solos. It's not incredibly creative. I mean, you'll get things like, remember the Pat Travers band when they had Pat Travers and Pat Thrall? That was creative,
right?
Because they weren't playing the same chords. Would be playing interlocking parts, and it was a lot more, to my mind anyway, a lot more creative. But it's just like anything else, it's the more people you add, it gets harder. It
Right.
really does.
The more
You know?
mouths to feed, the more people come on the road.
Obviously the logistics thing is a lot nicer. I'd prefer to be in a 3-piece band than a 9-piece band.
Right. See, and I don't understand how bands like Iron Maiden and Leonard Skinner can do like 3 or 4 guitar player bands. It's weird to me because
they can do it, but I mean, it's got to be a lot more organized, and in some ways that's totally what we hate. It has to be like this. I like the song to be a living, breathing organism where I can change my fills when I feel like it. Mike will go off, I'll follow him, Mark will do just crazy things on top, and then there'll be parts where all 3 of us are jamming. So there's a structure, there's a format, but within that format, we never play the song the same way twice, ever.
right.
He always plays different solos. When I do bass solo stuff, it's usually always different, and Mike's always going nuts on the drums, improvising here, there, and everywhere. And that really keeps it alive,
Oh, for
that
sure.
way it's exciting. I mean, we just lost Jeff Beck,
Right.
and Jeff Beck was like the greatest exponent of that. Look at all the videos, all these songs. I mean, like, Because We've Ended as Lovers or Blue Wind or whatever. He never played the same thing twice. There was a format. When it came to solos, and boom, off. And,
For sure. And
a lot of that's been lost by a lot of the younger bands. It's like, I have to play the solo like it is on the record, type of thing.
well, no, and it's spontaneity too, live.
That's what it's all about, spontaneity. You want to, you want to be a little bit dangerous. You want people to be like not knowing what's going to happen next when it's all laid out. Like, okay, I have the program. They're going to do all of this and do it exactly. No, that's classical. Go for that.
Oh, for sure. And that's why I hate getting on websites like Setlist FM and finding out what the band's playing on that tour. Because, I think, like with Metallica, they don't do the same show twice. They try to, they got the certain things.
Which is very commendable. It's great to do that. A few artists will do that. If you're doing an opening slot, it's a little harder because usually you're locked within, you're doing 30 or 40 or 45, and you've got to be done when you're done. So that does restrict you. Or festivals. I mean, when we first started doing festivals, we were guilty as hell as running over, and sometimes got cut off, and it was a really horrible experience to be cut off in mid-coitus, so to speak. So, it's just like, okay, you got to really rein that in, and don't have a song that's endless jamming at the end.
Right.
Try to avoid that part, but you do try to mix it up. We just did a tour last year doing the Wiped Out album, and it was basically a few songs, then the Wiped Out album, then a few songs. So kind of by having that huge block of the same songs, there wasn't a great deal of variety in it. We'd change up 1 or 2 every other night or something. That's about it. But you try to make the effort.
For sure.
Because there are people that want to come and see more than one show, and you want to give them something different,
Definitely. So with that, you say you were doing the Wiped Out album. Now, is that something that you actually like to do? Do you, because you've got 14 studio albums out, and is it like like you're going to go and do like the All for One tour or something like that, or Stay Hard, and you're going to play it like in its entirety? Is that something you particularly like to do?
We'd only done it once, which was the Wiped Out one. We were asked to do it. We initially was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then we thought about it and said, well, why not? Let's give it a shot. And it was fun. It was interesting. It was different because, usually a set list evolves, but you have those touchstone songs that are always in. You have the basic framework. It's like, last tour we did 4 from the new album. Well, we can't do the 4. We're going to do the next album and put a few new songs in from that. And, it evolves slightly. With this, it was like everything was out the window and you're doing this. Like, And it was a case of like, well, hopefully it paces well when we play it. And it did. It paced great. It was a lot of fun. We are going to do All for One. We're doing that in the UK here in March. We're going out doing a tour with that, and probably a few selected festival dates. Not sure about the States at the moment, because we do have a brand new album that'll be coming out in September, and we're looking to tour in September. So we'll see how it goes with that.
Hell yeah. So let me ask you this. So when you're going to do, because Wiped Out came out in 1982, and obviously you said that there are points in there where you do have your staples. You do have this song and this song from all the older albums and such, and then you have the newer songs and so on and so forth. How was it like to go back and listen to the album and have to relearn it?
Not too bad. There was a couple of songs I was like, what did we do there? There's like this, what was the song? UXB has some crazy passing harmony stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, it's like this. And Mark's like, no, you got it wrong. It's the other way around. You're going down and I'm going up. Oh, okay, great.
That's great.
So between the two of us, we figure it out.
Well, hell yeah. Because I think it's funny because like on... there was a documentary that I watched about the Stones, and they had a guy that just traveled with their albums. So whenever they wanted to put a particular song in the set that night, they would have the albums there to listen to it, to relearn it that day.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
so have you got the chance to do that? I've heard of
other people like Tori Amos. I think her and the band, they had like 300 songs that they rehearsed, and it was just call out the set. It's crazy.
That is, I couldn't.
And obviously, other like more jam bands like the Grateful Dead and who's the other one? Government Mule. It's very much that type of thing. What are we doing tonight? We'll do this.
Yeah, that's an insane. That's. It's this one, where they're just like, just yell it out and just go. And I'm sure there's so many bands that actually do that, but I do like a good stage show. I'll go with that on that as well. So, but there's two things. There's bands who are, they've got charisma, they're performers, they've got personality, and then you've got what. Like the Pink Floyd thing, where it's just like, we've got an awful lot of money and we bought this, watch this. Right.
Not to knock Pink Floyd, because they're absolutely brilliant at what they do, but you know what I mean? It's not like, are you ready to rock and roll? And no, it's not that at all. It's just, the guys are just playing, and you've got pigs and aeroplanes and all this other stuff, So
it's very much.
If you're a big band and you're playing in big arenas and big halls, and you want a big show to go with it, great. But it still has to be based on, the
music,
showmanship, personality, music. Which is why, somebody like Queen, it was perfect. You had Freddie, you had the band, the guys were rocking out. You want to see that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Metallica put on a big show. The guys are out there rocking out, doing their thing. You don't want faceless individuals making their hair go round in circles, all dressed in black. That's not a stage show.
I agree. I agree with that. So you did mention that you do have a new album coming out in September. Awesome. So number 15, studio albums. Do we have a name for it yet? Or are you allowed to say a name yet?
No, we do kind of have a name for it, but we'll lock it down 100% a little later. We're still finishing off the artwork, which looks phenomenal at the moment. It's awesome. Kind of in the vein of Metal City. It's more art with involving us in various crazy, dangerous circumstances, but you'll see it when it's done. We recorded an awful lot of songs. We wanted 10 songs for the record. Again, just keep it not too long, not too short. Boom, boom, boom. When you finish, you want to hear it again. the tendency to doing 17, 18, 19 song albums, it's, doesn't work. I mean, that's old school double album time. And to sustain that, I mean, if it's a concept album, I can understand that. But otherwise, you're just getting buried in songs. And you want to try and be a little more concise, especially with the kind of music we're playing. It's exciting, it's energetic. There's a lot of craziness in it. There's not, a 5-minute intro before the song starts and all that nonsense. We don't do that. So we did that. We've done a couple of strange cover tunes, which the new record company, Silver Lining, who are bringing this record out, wanted. And they'll be coming out later in the year. More on that as we get closer to it.
Hell yeah.
Which was fun. And then we recorded, like I say, like maybe 6 extra songs, 2 of which will be extra tracks for the album. And the other 4, we'll see. Maybe an EP or something down the line. They're all great. We're happy with them. It was just too much for one record.
Definitely. And I think that's ultimately an interesting point with bands, because seeing it, like, once you're doing this for an extended period of time in your life, 10 years, 15 years, 40 years, whatever, that the songs that don't make the cut, whether it be based on the band just it's not a strong enough song, or the label coming in and saying, hey, we don't really particularly think that this is a good song, and those decisions that get made to, the stuff that hits the cutting room floor, I think is always interesting.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this time we recorded, like I say, a lot more of those songs, but the last 3 or 4 albums we've had 30, 35 songs. And sometimes they'll get kicked to the curb because they're not quite ready, or they're not as strong as some of the others, maybe because they just weren't worked on hard enough. And sometimes you'll come back to them, like the next album cycle, say, remember that song? If I did this, this, and this, oh, it's so much better now. Let's do it. That's happened, and that will happen. And a couple of those songs, it happened with the brand new one. There was stuff that was put together on Metal City and was like, I like this, but this one will fit better. We were lucky enough to have enough songs to go, what would be a great lead-off song? What would follow that? What would be a good one in the middle? What would be a great closer? That type of deal. To kind of like pre-sequence it before you'd even went to that.
Yeah, it's like a version of pre-production.
Yeah, you distill it down to like, okay, we're going to record these songs, and you maybe, 1 or 2 over what you need. And that way you've got those extra tracks for Outer Mongolia or wherever you're selling your records these days,
Definitely.
But you're right. I mean, it's you don't just write the songs that are on the album. There's always a few extra. And it's just these days that the way it works out, we haven't recorded them properly, all of them, but they've all been demoed. And I'll always listen back and go, damn, we need to do something with that one. That's a good one.
Right. So when you're going in to record albums and such, with the Raven way of doing things, do you, but even back into the early to mid 80s and such, with demoing things, do you still listen to those tapes from that time period that you have and say, that was really cool back then, maybe we could do something like that now, and just from the demo stuff that maybe didn't get released?
Usually if they're that good, they've stuck in my head and I still throw them around. I can quote odd riffs. I mean, there's one really cool riff that Mark came up with in like 1983 that always stuck in my head, and I finally wrote a song with it, but it hasn't ended up on this record. It's really strong song. It's actually really commercial, and it's a typical Raven style riff that he came up with. So that's one of those things. But I really don't troll, let's listen to the 1983 riff tape and see what we've got and do that.
Okay.
I try to back away from that. You want to be thinking and writing of where you are now as opposed to where you are then. But saying that, a good idea is a good idea is a good idea.
Exactly.
If you come across that, which I do, because we did a box set for Rock Until You Drop last year, and I was listening for stuff. And I found a cassette tape with Mark writing Rock Until You Drop.
Wow.
Which was wow. Just sitting in the bedroom playing the guitar and just coming up with the riffs. I was like, wow, this is, it's not really the kind of thing you're going to put out on an album or anything, but it was just cool to find,
Oh, for sure.
So there are these little snippets and things here and there. You'll find jam tapes of us rehearsing, and what's that? But like I say, the good ones are still in here, and they come out now and then.
Definitely, for sure. So I do want to touch on something live with you in particular. I myself, singing bass player, obviously, I'm a huge Motorhead fan, a huge Rush fan, so they both check the boxes. Obviously, huge Raven fan, that's why we're here today. So you actually use a headset mic.
Yeah.
So what was the genesis for the headset mic rather than just, on the mic stand in front? And was it for freedom? Was it for, hey, nobody else is doing that and it looks cool? What was the reason behind it?
Well, to me, it does look cool and all the rest of it, and it's different. But I remember seeing video of Kate Bush back in 1979 when she did her first and really only tour. It was like, how's she doing that? They'd made a headset mic. The engineer that worked with them, she needs to dance, bit of coat hanger, whatever, put the microphone on it. But that's brilliant. I'd love something like that. And then a couple of years later, I see Sammy Hagar using this. I'm like, oh, it's a real thing. This could be really cool. And in '84, when we came over the States, I went to 48th Street in Manhattan in New York. Where I want the headset mic, I want the wireless, I want the whole deal. And went through holy hell for like the next year and a half trying to make it work. But the idea was the freedom, and the freedom to not have somebody kick the mic stand and have it hit you in the teeth while you're singing, the freedom to not get electric shocks when you're playing some of these clubs where the wiring was a little substandard and what have you. And being there's only the three of us, being able to move around.
Definitely.
Rather than just being static, when we never were a static band, and just to try and break away from that. You always felt like somebody just nailed your feet in front of the microphone stand. And you have to hold yourself a certain way to sing, where with the headset mic, you've got more freedom. You can move. If the sound isn't great in one spot, you can move away. You can move to, get a better monitor sound.
Definitely.
Because obviously it changes wherever you are on the stage. So that's incredibly helpful with that.
Definitely.
As long as you remember, if it's on, not to talk before you go on stage, and then you're good.
Yes. So don't sit there and be like, oh my gosh, I need to take a shit.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it's going to happen. It's going to come through. And it seemed to be like you said, like a staple point, like Kate Bush and all the pop stars, Michael Jackson and Madonna and all of them using it. And then Sammy Hagar and then, Ted Nugent was using one. And it's always interesting to me because, most of my experience with the headset mic has not really been with front people, has been with actually with drummers.
Right.
Because it's easier for the drummer to, be able to swing and do whatever they do back there and not have to, worry about hitting a mic stand or something.
Yeah, always back in the day, there would be like somebody like Lee Kerslake from Uriah Heep would sing, and the roadie would have the boom mic and would swing it over from the sing and then swing it back. You would see a lot of that going on. And it's obviously just a lot more comfortable where you can turn your head and keep singing and move and do stuff,
Oh, I'm sure. And the freedom that it gives you as a vocalist to be able to get to that front row of people and just point into
yeah,
and just
it's,
continuing
you know,
the show.
it enables you to be obviously a lot more of a front man than being stuck behind the microphone. You know,
Definitely.
it really made a huge difference. And like I said, when we first took it out, they would cut out about 5 or 6 songs into the set, and then we, go to a regular mic and then bring the whole damn thing on the bus, and me and the sound man would sit there and open it up and try to figure stuff out, and he'd spray like clear plastic over stuff to try and waterproof it, and try it the next night, and no. And then my roadie said, yeah, it's always the same. Like at the end of the show, after I pour out the sweat out of the transmitter, we're all like, what? So it was at the small of my back, and it would just fill up with sweat.
Oh, wow.
And of course, once it got to a certain level, boop, it would just cut out. So then we had what was called John's colostomy bag, where it was all sprayed with plastic and put in like triple bags and then put on the back. And then it worked perfectly from then on in.
Oh, wow.
Now, of course, I have it in a pocket on my chest so it doesn't get the sweat and stuff anyway. I've done that for years.
Definitely.
But it was a learning curve.
Oh, for sure. It always reminds me of the moment, and because we have in-ear monitors with my band and doing the wireless gig and everything. It's fun. It is definitely a learning curve, and I always think back to the scene of the Air Force Base show in Spinal Tap, where you're getting the people talking through the radio. Hello. It's just like.
Yeah, we've had that before. Taxi for Lawson. Is it 132 Acacia Avenue?
I really hope to play a place one day where we can like bleed over into like the police band or something.
Oh yeah, they'll come and tell you real quick.
Oh yes, they will. Yes, they absolutely will. Awesome. So new album September. Hopefully everything is a set release date ready to go for that.
We're looking at September. Not a set release date yet. We're still
with all the production.
The odd guy has to get his thing in like this week, I believe it is, and then we'll be able to say, boom, you've got it all, and then we move forward from there, and they'll set a date and work based on that.
Hell yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and switch gears here, and we're going to ask some general profile questions to you as a person, because we're all people. We're all in it together. We're all doing the thing. We're all just day-to-day life.
Sure.
If you could be a personal assistant to anyone, who would it be?
Oh, jeez. A personal assistant to anyone. It would have been fun to be a personal assistant to Jeff Beck and just see behind the scenes, all that stuff. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You wouldn't keep offering him picks or anything, though. You need this pick, man.
No.
Because
I get asked that. You got any picks, man? I goes, no, I play with my fingers. It says, I'm not giving you the finger.
Yes, definitely.
So I thought I should get some plastic fingers made up, and I could throw them out instead. That would be cool.
Dark joke of the day is ask Tony Iommi where he gets his. Oh, shit.
There you go.
Oh,
Tony should sell plastic fingers, right?
He should, right? And, I'm a huge Sabbath fan as well. I definitely have Tony's hand tattooed on my arm. So,
that's cool.
So,
that's cool.
The Hand of Doom is what it's called.
Hand of Doom, indeed. What a guy.
Definitely. What is the nicest thing a stranger has ever done for you?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. I've had relative strangers lend me money at the darker times of my life, which was incredibly appreciated, put it that way. People that I didn't actually know that well and had heard of what was going on and just reached out and said, hey, you're covered.
Wow.
That type of thing makes you think, it's one of those things where you want to pay it forward and help people out the same way, So that's what springs to mind.
Definitely. That is amazing. And I'm sure, it's because they, being fans of the band and just knowing, you're just a kick-ass guy overall.
Well, of course.
Yeah. What is the main thing that influences your decision making?
I'm pretty analytical. I try to look at things from all angles before I make a decision. I try not to make, I mean, you'll get your gut reaction, which I'll take and put it to one side, review everything else, take another look at that, and then see what it is. Having said that, quite often your gut reaction's the right one.
Hell yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. What do you consider is the most important piece of furniture in a house?
Piece of furniture? a damn good chair.
Yes. I agree, because I am very much I like to sit and talk with people. I like to hang out and just chill out and feel like what everybody has to say. So yes, a great chair is always the best, because it's like you can get down and you can just be like, so explain to this, talk to me about this.
Exactly.
Hell yeah. So I'll ask a couple more, because I know you're a busy person. What is your kryptonite?
My kryptonite is, there's a few. Pickles.
Oh.
Fucking pickles. I hate them. Don't give me pickles. Mayonnaise.
Oh, mayonnaise.
And tomato ketchup. No, thank you.
Oh. So you don't like pickles?
No. So it's always a challenge if you're ordering fast food to go, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this, I don't want that. And they'll go, yeah, great, here you go.
I always get with the thing of saying plain.
Yeah,
send it to me.
What was the great line from? What was it? It was the Lethal Weapon. I can't remember it was the little guy, the Italian guy. What the hell's his name? They always fuck you in the drive-thru.
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci. There you go.
So I do have one more question, but before we get into that, as always, links are listed in the description below, so please give a like, share, and a follow. Please support in any and every way you can. Go buy merch, go buy albums, go support these guys when they're on tour, because, this is a big milestone. 15 albums. That is amazing. A lot of people, put out, but, when it's a 50-year career, let's just go ahead and round it up. That's a long time. That's a super long fucking time.
I saw there was a thing was run around on the internet last year at some point, and it was like the longest, bands that have been going, and we were like fourth or fifth on that list. I mean, the Rolling Stones and Aerosmith were above us. There wasn't many more. I was blown away by that. Probably, ZZ Top. And, it surprised me. And when you think back, I said, well, yeah, it's a long time. It's
absolutely.
A damn long time. And that's one of the reasons why we did the Wiped Out thing. It's 40th anniversary. 15th, 20th, yeah, that's okay. 40th?
Right.
It's got some gravity to it. So...
I will go out on a limb and say that Wiped Out is older than me.
Of course, look at doing those kind of things just for that reason,
I will go out and say that Wiped Out is older than I am, so...
Yeah, there you go.
Not by much. I'm an all for one guy. I was born in '83, so hell yeah.
There you go.
Do you have any shout-outs you want to throw out to anybody today?
Basically, just everyone out there that's been supporting the band for forever, appreciated. Any newbies out there, please check out the stuff. There's a lot of albums out, a lot of YouTube stuff, and we'll see you out on the road in 2023, no matter where you may be.
Yes, absolutely. So, final question of the day is, if you were going to be cremated, where would you like to have your ashes scattered?
Oh, that's a good one. I could think of a few places where they wouldn't like it, and it would be very politically incorrect. But let's just say we put them on the site of the old Mayfair Ballroom in Newcastle upon Tyne, which was the greatest venue on the planet and is now gone. So we'll do that.
Hell yeah. That, obviously it means something to you.
You never seen anywhere like it, man. Every week, headbanging mania for 6 or 7 hours, the greatest rock bands that were around, and, you know, the hottest girls, the most expensive beers, the whole deal.
Nice. Dude, John, thank you so much. This has been an awesome interview. A great, not even an interview, a great conversation, you know, and that's what this is about on the Metal Forge and everything. And on our way out today from, actually, you know what? Any song that you want from your career, what do you want me to play out?
Our career? Oh, that's a good one.
Of course, it has to be released. Unless you want to send me something that's not released.
I got a good one for you. That's full of piss and vinegar. Pick Your Window off the Life's a Bitch album. There's a fun one for you.
All right. So you heard him. This is from the Life's a Bitch album. This is Pick Your Window.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code MetalForge10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now. Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby. Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine, an independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code MetalForge10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.